All right, so let's look at the PSI Real Estate Exam. Let's look at some math questions. And what you're looking at right now are two proration questions that are very similar to something that you might see on the real estate exam. And so the first question reads, on January 15th, a seller paid $960 in annual property taxes for the current calendar year. A buyer is purchasing the house with the closing set up for March 1st. What will be the seller's credit for the property tax already paid if the buyer pays for the day of closing? Use a 360-day year and a 30-day month. All right, so a couple things going on here, right? We're talking about prepaid. So the seller has paid all of the property taxes for the current year. Don't worry about the January 15th. January 15th, and this is just to throw you off to give you some place to start that you're not supposed to be really looking at. The other thing is we're using a 360-day year. The buyer owns the day of closing, and we're doing 30-day months. So what this is going to look like is we're going to take $960 and we are going to divide that by 360 days in a year. And that gives us $2.67 per day. So then we're going from January 1st to February 30th, because again, the buyer owns the day of closing, which is March 1st, and we're doing 30-day months. So this is a total of 60 days that the seller is in the home. All right, so the seller owns 60 days of property taxes. So then we're going to go $2.67. We're going to multiply that by 60 days. That's going to give us $160.20. Awesome. So that is how much of the time that the seller used and how much they need to pay for their share of the property taxes for this property. But they already paid $960 to start. So we're going to go $960. We're going to subtract that. $160.20 minus $960 equals $799.80. And this again is credit seller, debit buyer. All right, so let's look at another one. Let's go through this. So on February 1st, a seller paid $1,140 in annual property taxes for the current calendar year. He sold the house with the closing set for April 1st. What will be the seller's credit for the property taxes already paid if the buyer pays for the day of closing? Use a 360-day calendar, 30-day month. Awesome. So we again are talking about prepaid taxes. The date on here, February 1st, it's just to throw you off. Don't worry about that. What we're seeing is 360-day calendar again, 30-day months, and April 1st is the day of closing, and the buyer owns the day of closing. So what we're going to do, we are going to take our annual taxes of $1,140. We are going to divide that by 360 days, and that is going to give us $3.17 per day. All right, so that's what it's costing in taxes. So then what we're going to do is we have January to March 30th. And that is 90 days. Awesome. So now we're sitting at this, and we know that now we're going to have to take the days, dollars per day, which is $3.17. And we're going to multiply that by the days that the seller is in the home. And that is going to give us $285.30. This is for the amount that the seller owes for the time that they owned the property and lived in the property. Because again, they are selling it and the buyer owns the day of closing. So they owned this property for 90 days in this current calendar year. So again, they prepaid all $1,140. We are going to subtract the $285.30, which is the time that the seller used the property. And we get $854.70. Again, this is going to be credit, seller, debit, buyer. So as we're going through the exam, what they're going to show you is they're going to tell you which calendar to use. And for the most part, if it is a 360-day calendar, it's going to be a 30-day month. And if they say buyer owns the day of closing, seller owns the day of closing, that's also going to tell you where you're going to start and stop. Again, right, we saw that the buyer owned the day of closing in these examples. So we knew that we only had to count the previous month. We did not count the current month because our closings were on the first day of the month. So we do this, we go the amount already prepaid divided by the days of the year gives us our dollar per day. We multiply that by the days that the seller owned the property, and we subtract that from the prepaid taxes for that current year. Hope that was helpful. Stay tuned next week for another example of questions you will see on the real estate exam.